breaking news from yesterday evening. It was in a key meeting. President Trump was in a meeting unrelated to Israel and Hamas or Gaza, and this deal that we've been discussing, of course, on the broadcast about Israel withdrawing, the IDF withdrawing from Gaza, Hamas demilitarizing, giving up control of governance of Gaza, and allowing basically a team primarily of Arab nation peacekeepers to join in on the fight to do what the IDF was doing to secure Gaza for the Palestinian people that live there. And so instead of having the IDF do that. Well, yesterday in a meeting, there was this meeting, and all of a sudden, you see Secretary of State Marco Rubio in the meeting. And he whispers into the president's ear. And what we now know is that the president was told that we are very close to phase one of the peace deal being signed and agreed upon by both Hamas and the state of Israel, and that he's got to be ready to go with a statement. And then not soon after that, President Trump did issue a statement on Truth Social about the deal itself. And in that statement, which we're putting up on the screen, and I think it's very key for all of us to, again, kind of take this in for what it is, and also realize it hasn't happened yet. But the statement says that they have agreed to phase one. Phase one is the IDF withdrawal of Gaza, the new international force going in. And then, of course, part of that deal is that all hostages, both the bodies of those who were killed by Hamas and those who are still living. Now, Israel estimates that they still believe there are 20 living hostages. Hamas has not totally confirmed that. They haven't told in any statement said, no, it's going to be less than that. What's unique there, too, is that two of those 20 are individuals that we represented. We brought their brother. They are twins. We brought their brother to Washington, D.C. not long after the October 7th attacks that winter to meet with members of Congress and meet with our team. And I've got to thank Speaker Johnson again for setting up those meetings. They met with the top Democrats as well to bring attention to what happened on October 7th. And from, again, none of us wanted to be here 2 years later for those twin brothers to return home. So there's that hope that they do remain alive and that they will return home. The other two clients that we represented in that manner, unfortunately, their loved ones were killed by Hamas and were executed by Hamas. So if that number is 20, it would be an unbelievable moment, obviously, for those families who have waited so long with so little information, and for the Middle East itself. So we're going to talk about the ramifications of that. That's why I came to you live today, right from outside of our studio, kind of a grassrootsy way to make sure we broke down all of the information for you so that you're prepared for what may happen this weekend between Israel and Hamas and the Arab nations. But I just think about if this deal moves forward, this is the most significant, I think, peace effort in the Middle East that we've seen in decades, and would solve what has been a problem, a serious problem for the state of Israel and its Arab neighbors as well, the Palestinian issue, if you want to call it that, for the first time to say that we're going to move forward peacefully to negotiate what this looks like in the future with a governing body made up of a number of individuals, but not including Hamas. I mean, so, it's hard to even imagine getting there, 2 months ago. I want to bring my dad right into the discussion, Jay Sekulow, our chief counsel. And Dad, I mean, that's kind of point one, is that this would be ultimately maybe the most historic peace deal in history if it goes through in the Middle East, if it goes through the way that it is planned to. But even if phase one works, I mean, we haven't seen anything like this since the foundation of Israel. There's been consistent fighting and terror attacks and war since 1948.
This is very encouraging. First of all, it would bring regional stability, not just to Israel and including Gaza and the West Bank, but it would bring regional stability to the Middle East. And that's very important for the rest of the world. You have to put this also in a context. Iran has been significantly degraded over the last 9 months because of President Trump's orders directly in our U.S. military, degrading their nuclear capacity. So you have that also happening simultaneously. We had the introduction of the first phase, what I call it, of the Abraham Accords. I think you're going to see this open up other countries to sign those accords in the very near future. You could already see that the regional players, including the Arab countries, are looking forward to this actually happening because it will take pressure off of all of them. Of course, our initial and primary concern has been the hostages because as lawyers, we were retained by those families a number of the families to represent their interests before international tribunals, which we did. You mentioned in the first segment, we did it in Washington. We've done it at the UN. We've done it at the European, in the legislative chambers in Europe, including the European Parliament, and the Council of Europe. So we have made an international effort here, and I think what you're about to see, and look, the details here are the key. It's not now what's been written, that's been executed. It is the implementation of this. Will we actually see the release of the hostages? And Jordan, as you just pointed out, are there 20? Are there 30? Are there 5? We don't have a specific number. Israel's intelligence thinks there's upwards of 20. I hope and pray that's the case. I hope and pray there's more. But this is a very positive development, and I think you could see a radical change in the entire region.
Yeah, I mean, we know we were with Liron Berman and his twin brothers, Gali and Ziv Berman, who Israel, throughout the conflict, throughout these 2 years, and he joined us in Washington, D.C., Israel has believed and put it out the message they believe that those twin brothers are still alive. And that would be a miracle, but it would also be, I think, something that, again, people weren't expecting this to even be the case anymore, that this could actually come to a close. The way that Prime Minister Netanyahu actually said that this will not be over and we will not stop until every hostage is returned. And with the decimation of Hamas, the decimation of much of the Gaza Strip, a lot of pressure on Israel because of their response. But Dad, ultimately, if Hamas demilitarizes and returns the bodies and those living hostages, Israel did exactly what it said it would do.
Well, that's exactly right. And look, I mean, this has been a very trying time for the entire region. Gaza's been devastated. And, of course, the atrocities that Hamas did. And you're negotiating with terrorists. So you're signing deals with terrorists. We got to realize that. But there's a long-term play here of regional stability with the way that it's envisioned that Gaza will be redeveloped. And I think that with the leadership of Hamas, it's also been degraded and significantly eliminated, that they had no choice here. If the military action of Israel had not been taken, this deal would never have happened. If the President Trump did not successfully order the U.S. military to strike those Iran nuclear facilities, this would not have happened. So it took a culmination of months of efforts here to do this.
Yeah, I mean, you realize that Hamas was cut off from its allies. Iran no longer had the capability after those attacks to keep supplying them weapons. Most of their leadership has been taken out, even when they announced new leaders. The same for Hezbollah. So Hezbollah was not able to go in and assist Hamas as they usually would, and other radical groups. I mean, their leadership is just decimated. We're not even sure who exactly is claiming to be the head of Hamas in the Gaza Strip right now. Usually they've got their entire face covered when they do any kind of media reports. They have some other political leaders, but most of them have also have been taken out as well during this conflict. And I think, Dad, it could rewrite history, because we were getting to a point where the world was saying, you know what, this is too much from Israel. This is too much destruction, too much war. But as you just said, if this didn't all happen the way it happened, Israel would not be even thinking about right now any living hostages being returned, the bodies of those who were deceased, unfortunately, but those bodies being returned, and Hamas demilitarizing and allowing an international force, really a regional force of mostly Arab nation militaries, to go in and secure the Gaza Strip instead of the Israelis having to do it. I mean, you think about that, hindsight's 2020, but then you put it all together and realize everything that Israel did, and including weathering the criticism and storm and questions about did they go too far? Was it too aggressive in their response? like you said, they wouldn't be here today. And they wouldn't be here today if the U.S. hadn't taken those aggressive steps on Iran as well. So we neutralized every single one of Hamas's partners. We made it clear that if you are a leader of Hamas, and Israel made it clear, even outside the Gaza Strip, that you were not safe. And so Ismail Haniyeh is no more. And their leadership that was inside the Gaza Strip was totally taken out. So they say, that they're willing to give up governance. They're willing to demilitarize. And Dad, I think if that does happen, it's because they basically already have given up. They can't govern anymore, and they can't. They have very little military weaponry left.
I think their capacity as both a paramilitary organization as functioning governments is gone. That has also been degraded and decimated. They don't have the capacity to govern. So I want to say something to some of the naysayers out there that were questioning President Trump on this, and including conservatives, by the way, and well-known ones. And also those that were taking this kind of anti-Israel stance and they were doing too much. No, we would not be here today, first of all, if Hamas didn't start these atrocities, number one. Number two, we would not be here today unless the military action of the United States and the military action of Israel in the region had not taken place. So without those two, nothing happens. Now you've got Hamas coming to the table, giving up governance, which they're not capable of doing because they have no choice. They're not doing this because they want to. They're doing this because they have no choice. So, look, there's vital American interests at play here in the Middle East, considering Iran was threatening to cut off the Strait of Hormuz, which would have removed, I think, 65% of the oil and gas transports in the region and also to the rest of the world. So this end result is very positive.
Yeah, I just want to play this flashback really quick for folks. This is November 7th, a month after the October 7th attacks. We brought those families of the hostages we represented to Capitol Hill. This is Speaker of the House Mike Johnson 2 years ago.
We want to thank these families again for their courage and their willingness to share your harrowing stories. And I will say again and reiterate once more, we will stand against these atrocities, and we will stand with Israel, and we'll stand with each of you and your families. We'll be praying for you, and we'll be taking action, because that's what we're going to do here. That's what's called for. I know that your time is short and you have to leave. I want to thank Jay and Jordan Sekulow, the American Center for Law and Justice, for helping facilitate the visit today. I know you have a tight itinerary, so we'll allow you all to step off the stage, if you will.
So, folks, again, that just underscores how long at the ACLJ we've been working towards this kind of moment, knowing that it was an uphill battle anytime you're dealing with a terrorist organization. But I think it's a great reminder of why you support the work of the ACLJ.